Hi, in this lecture we are going to discuss about how problem solving can be easily done with tuples and sets. Before moving into the problems, we will just see how the functionality of a function is being done in Python. So, let us define a function, for example, def I am going to find sum of or let me say average of a list. Okay, so I am going to pass a list to this function and I am going to find the average of the elements in the list. That is my objective. So we know already that sum is there built-in function for which we can pass the list, and then we can use the len function to know the length. So using this we can just find the average and we can return like this. So what I can do is, here I have just defined a list like 54, 56, right, and then I will pass to this function and I will get the average. Let me say A is equal to average of L, okay, and I can also print A, just it, yeah. So I am saying that the average is 45. Okay. So here clearly it is given that the functionality of this function is to just find out the average and return. But by mistake, intentionally or unintentionally, if the user is going to say like L of 0 is equal to 90, okay, I am going to say like this, L of 0 equal to 90, and then I am going to run the code, you will see that the average has changed. Okay. Why? Because when you are going to pass a list to a function, it is passed by reference. Okay. So it is like shallow copying only. Same memory space will be shared between this particular function space and this particular function space. So whatever changes you are making in this function will get reflected in the original object also. So we should be very careful when we are passing objects to the function, because the modifications made by the function will get reflected in the original object also. Sometimes it may not be desirable, or sometimes you may not be allowing that particular thing to happen, right? And when you are going to do projects particularly, a single programmer is not going to write all the functions, and it will be split among themselves, and they have to write their own functions independently and test whether that function works perfectly and then integrate with the other code. That is how it will be going on, and there will be some rules already defined and discussed, like we should not modify this particular thing in the function, or when you modify this should be done in this particular way, like that. But there is a possibility that the programmer may forget it and may allow to make some changes. So how can we avoid this? Is instead of passing this as a list, what we can do is we can pass it as a tuple. Okay, this is the major advantage of tuple. So when I am going to convert that to a tuple, what happens is it becomes a read only object. So and I am going to use this, if the same functions like sum, len, everything is useful in tuples also. So I can easily find the average, and if I am accidentally trying to change the value like this, okay, if I am trying to do this, I will get an error that tuple does not support the item assignment. So my data becomes very safe when I am going to pass to a function, when I am going to pass it as a tuple, right. This is the major advantage of this. Now we will go to the problem solving thing, right. Now let us consider this first problem. You are given details of n student, there is a class with n students. You have been given name of the student and marks scored by the student, right, and now you have to write a Python code to print the name of the students in alphabetical order. In first we will see how to print it in ascending order and then descending order, okay, and who have scored more than class average, right. Now you will be given details of n students. You have to find the class average and you have to print the name of the students who have scored more than class average. That is the problem. So when you see the PSC of the problem, input is going to be the number of students and name of the students and their marks. Output is going to be the name of the students in alphabetical order who have scored more than the class average. And when you see the concepts involved in solving the problem, you have to find a mapping of the student name and their mark. This student has scored this particular mark. That kind of mapping we have to bring in. And similarly, we have to sort the names because we wanted to print in alphabetical order. Now, let us consider this example when you have been given details of 5 students, right? And now I have given a new format, like I am going to separate the name and the mark by a comma. Okay. So, this is the name, this is the mark. I am just separating them by a comma. Here if you consider, if you take the average of the marks, the class average is 51.2. And when you look at the marks scored by the student, this particular student has scored more than 51.2, this student and this student. So, when you want to print it in alphabetical ascending order, you will print BKN, MNU and then VBN. Let us see the algorithm of the problem. So, you have to read the number of students, let it be stored in the variable n, and now we are going to have a dictionary to do the mapping between the name of the student and marks scored, right. So, you are going to have a empty dictionary initially, let me call that as stud marks, okay, and then we are going to have a loop. Repeatedly we are going to read the name and the mark and put it in the dictionary. For that, I is going to be the iterative variable, and you are going to repeat steps 5 and 6 for n times, right. What you are going to do, read the name and the mark, and you are going to store it in the dictionary, right. And after storing in the dictionary, we are going to retrieve the marks alone, and then we are going to find the class average. To find the class average, we are going to have a function. So, let me call the function as compute class average. So, this compute class average will return me the class average of the marks, and then I will go through the students in ascending order. One by one I will check whether their marks is greater than the class average. If it is greater, then I am going to print it and then stop. This is the algorithm. Now, let us try out implementing this in Python. So, the first thing is, we will do step by step. So, the first thing is, you have to read the value of n. So, n is an integer, so convert it into a integer, okay. And then you have to have a empty dictionary which is named as stored marks, okay. So, it is going to be empty, and then you are going to have a loop for I in range 0, n. We are going to repeatedly do. What you are going to do is read the name, okay. Name is but here when you look at it, actually we are going to give in this format. When we discussed the example, we saw that we are going to give it as a single string, okay. So, I am going to read it as a single string, and I am going to use the split function. We have already discussed about the split function. When you give this comma, then it will split based on the comma. So, it will split this VBN and 78. If you take the first data, it will split into two things. The first, it will be a list. Actually, split will return a list. So, there will be two data in it. First one at 0 will be this name, and after that will be the mark, okay. And then now I am going to store it separately, so s of 0, and then mark is going to be, it is a string, so I have to convert it into a integer, right, because I have read it as a string. When I use split, it will be giving me list of strings, splitted strings, okay. So, I have to convert it into a integer to store it as a mark, and then I am going to put it inside the dictionary. So, stood mark of name is equal to mark, okay. So, now storage is done. Then what should we do? As per the algorithm, we have to take the marks, okay. So, let me say marks is equal to, how will we take it from the dictionary? Stood marks dot, actually marks are stored as values. So, you have to use this values function, okay, and I am going to convert that into a tuple because I want to find the average using a function, and the function should not accidentally modify the mark, okay. So, I am going to convert it into a tuple. Similarly, names I am going to have it as a list itself. Okay, so stood marks of name, now sorry, keys, right? Names are stored as keys in the dictionary, so I am going to have it as keys. Okay, then I am going to compute the class average by using the function compute class average, okay, for which I will be passing the marks. Okay, now let me write the class average function above this, let it be above this. So def compute class average, okay, and then I will be sending the marks, right? And here what I will do, I will just say A is equal to sum of marks. Okay, we know that there is a built-in function sum that will find out, now only we saw, divided by len of marks. Okay, so I will get the average, I can say return A. Fine. So now class average will contain the average. Then what I am going to do is, I am going to sort the names. Okay, so already we have seen that when there is a list, you have a built-in function sort, which can be called through the list, okay, through the list object. So I am calling names dot sort. So it will modify the names, it will alphabetically sort it in ascending order by default, the names. Okay, and then what I am going to do is, for n in names, I am going to get the, I am going to take the name one by one, and I will look into the dictionary and find out what mark that particular student has scored. Okay, so and I am going to check it with average. So I am going to say if stood mark of, okay, I think it should be stood marks, yes, stood marks of, okay, stood marks of n, right? If stood marks of n greater than or equal to class average, then I am going to print n, print the name. Fine. So we can take the data from here and give it as input. One minute, yeah, give it line by line. Yeah, somewhere I have made the mistake again. Okay, stood mark, it should be stood marks. Okay, fine. Again give the same input and you will find that you have got the deciding BKL, MNU and VBN, right? Okay, now what I am going to do is a small variation in the code I will make so that you will get it in descending order. Now you can see that the name comes in ascending order. If you want in descending order, you use the same sort function, but you have to give reverse equal to true. When you say reverse equal to true, then automatically it will sort the list in descending order. Okay, so we will give the same input. You will find out that it is printing in reverse order. Okay, so VBN is getting printed and then MN and then BKL. Fine, this is about the first problem, and we will see the next problem, right? So the second problem what we are going to discuss is, a school is encouraging the students to participate in Olympiads, okay, and there are 3 subjects they are going to participate: maths, physics and chemistry. And what the school does is, they are going to conduct a competition inside the school and choose the top 5 students in each of the Olympiad. In maths top 5, in physics top 5 and in chemistry top 5 students are going to be chosen. and then the school plans to arrange a bus to take them to regional Olympiads, and then regional Olympiads is going to be conducted. What the school does is they plan to arrange a bus and take the toppers to the center where regional Olympiads is going to be conducted, right? And some of the students prefer to come to the center by their own transport. Okay, so the student is going to the school is going to allow them to come by their own transport. Now the task is, given the details, all these details, find the number of students who need transport. Okay, this is the problem. So when you look at the input, input will be the school toppers in the maths, physics and chemistry internal Olympiads, and name of students who will take their own transport. Okay, and the output will be number of students to be taken in the bus. So when you look at the concepts involved, the first thing is you have to find name of unique students who are going to participate, because there may be repetitions. Okay, because there are five toppers in each of the Olympiads. A student in maths might have come as within the 5 places of physics or chemistry also. So first task is you have to find the name of the unique students who are going to participate in the regional Olympiads, and then you have to find out who need the transport. So let us consider this example. The first list what you are going to read is list of students who have been selected for maths Olympiads. Okay, 5 students, and you can see that the names are separated by space. S34 is one name, separated by space S45, S56, S12, S05. Next line contains the 5 students who have got good marks and come as toppers in physics Olympiads. Their names are also separated by space. And the third line contains the toppers in chemistry Olympiads, and their names are separated by space. Next one is the line which is having the details of the students who are going to opt for transport by themselves, 2 students. Now the answer to this is 10. When you look at it, there are totally 12 students. Okay, 12 students, 12 unique students will come, because you can see that S12 is a repetition, S56 is a repetition. Similarly, you can see that S56, S12, and then you can see yes, one more repetition will also be there. Okay, so totally there will be 3 repetitions, and 2 students are going to opt their own transport. So totally there will be 10 students. Okay, that is the thing. So we will see how to write the code. So this is the algorithm for solving the problem. First thing is you have to read the toppers in maths, physics and chemistry and the self-transport students. Okay, self-transport students means who are going to come by their own transport, and then you find what is unique toppers. How you can find? Now this is a Python tuned algorithm, so we can represent by sets. Okay, so when you can just you can use the set data structure, and you can find union of the maths, physics and chemistry toppers, so that you will remove the duplicates automatically. And when you want to find the transport needed, it will be unique toppers minus. You have to find the difference between the unique toppers and the self-transport students, and then you can print the number of students who need the transport, right? Okay, so we will implement this algorithm. Yes, so max is equal to input dot split. When you don't pass anything to the split function, then it will split based on space, tab and new line character. Okay, so we have got the input in which space will be there for separation, so we need not pass any parameter for the split function. In the previous example we were having comma as the separator, so we had to pass comma as argument for the split function. Okay, now we have got all the 3, and similarly self transport also I am going to get it from the user, right? Since I am using split function, all the 4 will be a list. Then I am going to have like unique toppers, okay, unique toppers will be a empty set, right, and then now I am going to take union. So unique toppers is equal to unique toppers. We have already discussed in the lectures how we can find union. There are 2 ways in which you can do. One is using the pipeline symbol, other one is using the union function. But when you look at the advantage of the union function will work with the list also. Even if you pass a list as argument, it will automatically implicitly convert the list to a set and then join it with the existing set. But when you look at the pipeline symbol, you have to explicitly convert it to set. So I prefer using union. So I am going to say union of max. Okay. First of all, I am taking the unique toppers. Unique toppers is initially empty, and then finding union with the max set. So at the end of this operation, I will get a set with toppers and max and dot union. So whatever is returned is a set. So dot union means the return set over which I am applying the union operation. Now I am going to pass physics. So at the end of this, you will have unique toppers from max and physics, and then once again I am going to apply the union with chemistry. Okay. So when this particular thing is done, you will have the unique toppers of all the 3 subjects, and then I should find the transport needed, right. So for transport needed, I have to find the unique toppers, difference between the unique toppers and the self transport, right. Already we have seen minus is there to take the difference, but if I want to take minus, then I have to convert the other one to set. Okay, it cannot work with list, but if I use difference function, I can do it, right. So I can do it in either way. Now I am choosing the other option where I will use the minus 1. Okay. Then you can print. I want to print the number of students who need. So it's enough if I say the length of the transport needed set. Okay. So I can use len and I can find out. This is the code. Just check it. Okay, some spelling mistake. Self transport. Yeah, you have got the answer as 10. If you want, you can print the people who need the transport also. It is just a set, you can print and see, or you can convert to a list, you can sort it, you can do all the operations. So it is very easy to convert from one structure to other. If you want to convert a tuple to list, directly you can say list of the tuple, or list to a tuple. Anything can be easily done. Similarly, set to list, we can see. Okay, if I say set of that, then it gets converted to the set. In Python, it is very simple. If I say list of a set, then the set will become a list. So I can carry over the operations defined in list, and then I can convert back to a set. That kind of flexibility is there in Python, and it will be very easy to do problem solving with Python. Okay, do practicing to improve your skills. Thank you.